is Easy Speak, which is a way that we track and assign different roles for our members to take part in our meetings. The thing that you have to realize when you're using Pathways or you're using Easy Speak is that they are two completely separate programs or web pages. The two do not talk to each other. So when you put something into Easy Speak or you assign yourself a role or take on a role in Easy Speak, it is not recorded in Pathways and vice versa. So please understand that we need to have you do both. We need you to take on roles and to give speeches and request giving speeches in Easy Speak, and as well as use Pathways to educate yourself about your pathway and your different levels that you complete in Pathways. So Pathways is great because before Pathways, way back in the ancient days, when I was still going to, I'm quite a bit older than most of you guys, we used to use a hardbound book. Well, it wasn't hardbound, but it was a hard copy of giving speeches. And that is how we would progress. There was 10 different speeches that we would progress from. So they actually thought that this actually limited the educational process of Toastmasters. So they actually went to this paperless version. You can get a hard copy if you'd like, but now it is all paperless, and that's a way that we're going with our educational process and giving speeches. So that is great. We don't have to get bogged down by having all these paperwork and writing down evaluations and things like that. The other great thing about Pathways that I find is that it is customizable. So it is more apt to adhere to the different goals that you have. The old way, you could only do the same speeches over and over again. There was 10 different speeches, but each speech was the same. And so there wasn't different pathways or different ways to customize your speeches. Now there's actually 11 different pathways that you can enroll in. You have to enroll in one at a time, but this way you can actually gear the pathway that you're on, the speeches that you're going to give in those pathways towards the goal that you want to get or the goals that you have to achieve in Toastmasters. So I think that is great. It's an easy way to progress. You don't have to, like I said, bog down with paperwork, and that everybody can actually see each other's progress, well, at least the educational progress of the club, and your VPE, which I am this Toastmasters year, can track all our members through Pathways. So without further ado, I am going to take us to the Pathways website. And the two goals that I have tonight are show you how to complete a level in Pathways. But first, actually, I want to show you how to complete a project in Pathways, excuse me. And there is usually 2 to 3 projects in each level. And there's 5 different levels for every pathway. So you have to complete 5 different levels in each pathway to complete a whole path. But there's usually about, like I mentioned, 2 to 3 different projects in each of those levels. So you have to do quite a few levels to get a whole pathway completed. But that is my goal, is to show you how to complete a project, and then after that, complete a level in Pathways. And then I'm going to go over to Easy Speak and show you how to sign up for those different roles that we assign. Actually, I want to show you how to go into Easy Speak and accept different roles, because you don't assign yourself roles. Sorry, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm a VPE, that's VP of Education, and that's what I do. I assign different roles for people. But we do want you to use both, and let's show you how to use pathways now. Okay. This is actually Easy Speak. I will get you to, can everybody see my screen? Okay, great. So this is the main page on Toastmasters International. First thing to do is to log in your username and your password, which will be the one that you will choose when you first become a member. Okay, and it says, welcome, Ken. There is multiple ways to get to the base camp. So the base camp is where the education of pathways starts. There is a way of just hovering over the pathways tab and clicking on go to base camp. That's the easiest way, and the way I suggest when you're first learning how to use pathways. Then it takes you to this intermediate level, and you can go to Basecamp from here, or you can, if you're first starting to use pathways, you first have to choose a pathway to go into. And $20 is the amount that costs to go to another path. But when you become a member, your first path is basically already paid for. So you do not have, you can just use this $20. But you do have to choose a path to begin with. So this is the first place when you're new using pathways to go. Continue to pathway selection. Choose your language and choose if you want to do a digital version of it. There is a way of looking at all the different 11 paths. This is this option right here. I'll show you how you can check out each of the 11 different individual paths. This is a great way to learn about the different ones before you choose, but there's also a self-assessment part of this. And that is right here. And this is how you take a self-assessment. This will give you suggestions on, it's been a while, 2 to 3 different paths that you could choose. Now, you don't have to choose the pathways or one of the pathways that it suggests, but it's a great way to take this self-assessment, see what it suggests, and then you can go from there. I won't go through the whole thing, but it will start, ask you different questions, and then at the end, it will tell you which of those pathways it suggests. So after that, it will give you the option of which pathway you want to choose, and then you choose that pathway to go into. After that, then you go to Basecamp. That is where you launch all the different projects and levels of pathways. This is the main page of Basecamp. I'll show you the pathways and learning. That is where it'll show you all the different projects and levels that you are able to take. Speech evaluations is another tab that you can go directly to the evaluations, and you don't have to go through this pathways and learning educational script. And then there's also tutorials and resources. I was playing around a little bit with this, and I think this is really good for new members. And it's a great way to find different resources. There's also another educational thing that is down here. Let's see, learn or team. I apologize. There is another My Documents. No, sorry about that. I'll show you the educational information at the end. But let me show you the pathways in learning. So here is the different pathways that you have. Now, when you're first starting at Toastmasters and as a new member, you're only going to have one path. I have chosen two different paths because I've almost completed my first one, which is innovative planning. So I'll show you the second one that I have not started yet. Pervasive. I can't even talk tonight. Pervasive influence. If they made it a little harder to pronounce, I would like that. Pervasive influence. All right. Can't speak tonight. I apologize. So this shows you the different icebreaker is in level 1. Evaluation and feedback is another one. But there's also an open curriculum. I find this is a little bit easier to read. So this shows you the different projects that are in level 1. There's the icebreaker, evaluation and feedback, which is actually 2 different speeches, and research and presenting, which is another one. So you have to come in here, and the first speech you give in Toastmasters is the icebreaker. This will say activate at first. I've already activated it, and then you have to push it again and it says launch. So I'll launch that. It's a 2-step process. And then you can go to the different parts of your speech, of your icebreaker speech or whatever project you're working on. You can move within this by using the arrow keys back and forth throughout the different parts of the project. And you can also move within that project by these different tabs here. The important thing to remember is that you need to take the assessment of your skills before you start the project and give the speech. This will give you a quick, oh, sorry about that, quick rundown of the different questions that it asks you to evaluate your own speaking ability. And then after you're done after you've given the speech, then you can go in here again, and you need to do this to complete the project. Love how that keeps on popping up at me. Then you take an assessment after your speech, and then you mark complete. Oops, okay. Then you're done, and this will say completed. And it will also show you the different progress levels of how much you've progressed throughout the level of each project you give. The completion will get higher, obviously, until the very end. And that will say mark complete down here in this level 1 completion portion of it. And then you activate it, you mark complete, and then it will say pending upon approval. And that is the last part that you need to do after you've given all your projects in the level. That it sends it to 3 different people in our club: the VP of Education, which is myself, Sherry, the president, and I believe the secretary can also approve it as well. So those 3 people get a message through email that the speech has been completed. And we're at the red level. Okay. After that, then you are complete once the VP of Education, president, or the secretary approves your level. And then you are done with that level. Then you can go into here. It'll say complete on level 1, and you can go to level 2 and go through same process as you went through level 1 and complete each of the projects and then complete the level. That is about it. I know I'm running out of time. I apologize. I did not have a chance to show you how to sign up in EasySpeak. I'll just go through that real quick. Basically log in, and every meeting we require our members to go in here, and it'll be a little bit different because I'm actually the VP of Education, so I can change this around a little bit. But we'd like you to approve that you're going, or say that you're going to attend each meeting by clicking here. And also, if you're assigned a role, which you can see that I've been assigned a role for the next meeting. I apologize, this is the wrong meeting. It's going to show you the next meeting. But if you have a role here that you're assigned to, you just have to click accept. The other thing that you can do in here is you can choose to give a speech, or ask to give a speech. And then you just go through here and click this little button, put your name in here, and then, actually, this is probably not the way you do it. You just click the button and request to give a speech, and then the VP of Education or the Toastmaster will assign you a role. Then you can go in here, and then you have to fill out the different forms to put in which project. So then you go in here after you've been assigned to give the speech for the role, and you go in here, put your name in here. And the important thing to do when you're filling this out, put your speech title, but the really big thing is to put your pathway and your level that you're working on in the speech title. So that's something that most people miss, and it's really important to put that in there. And then actually you can schedule a speech too, and then put in which week you're going to give the speech. So make sure you fill out all 3 of these tabs when you're filling out how to give a speech. And that's about it. I think I've run out of time. I apologize for running a little bit late. I hope I've shown you a few tips on how to complete a project and complete a level, and also use EasySpeak a little bit and make sure we are signing in and saying we're going to attend each meeting and accept the different roles that we are assigned, and also sign up or request to give speeches. That's it for me. I'll turn it back over to our Toastmaster, Chibi. Thank you.